I'm going to be getting some new tyres soon, so I thought I'd show you how the Dunlop GPR-300s on my Z400 have won so far. These are the tyres that come stock on the Ninja 400, the Z400 and a bunch of other small sports bikes. I've had these tyres on since the bike was new and I've done 7,459 miles on them. I've used them in pretty much all conditions other than snow, ice and on the racetrack. Otherwise they've been used on twisty roads, commuting to work, motorway trips and even a bit of dirt and gravel. I've used them in the rain and on sunny days too. The coldest temperature I've ridden in was about 4 degrees Celsius and the warmest is up to about the high 20s Celsius. I'm pretty gentle on tyres. I ride at the speed limit whenever it's appropriate to, and that includes faster roads. But I also tend to accelerate quite smoothly, brake fairly gently, and I don't do burnouts or track days or anything else that might wear out a tyre prematurely. I'm also quite a light rider, I weigh just under 50 kilos. We'll start by looking at how well they've worn, and they've honestly done a really good job for the mileage. The rear tyre has about 3mm of tread left. In the UK, the legal tread depth is 1mm, but personally I wouldn't run tyres below 2mm, because the wet weather performance especially really suffers. The rear tyre is starting to square off very slightly. I can't really feel it when I'm cornering, but I can see it, so I'm going to be swapping these out in the next few weeks. The front tyre is actually a little worse in some places. It's sitting at about 3mm of tread also, but there's some areas that have got down even to 2.5mm. I'm not quite sure why the front has worn quicker than the rear because that's pretty uncommon, but maybe they were underinflated for a little while before I noticed it. Surprisingly, the front tyre did pick up a puncture a few weeks ago and I had that plugged at a tyre shop. Other than that, I've had no issues with punctures on these. The rear tyre does have some cracks and some slices in it, but they aren't losing air and I think this is fairly normal. Both tyres are starting to show cracks in the tread and I think this is the start of some dry rot. According to the date stamp on the tyre, these were both manufactured in week 48 of 2019, so late November 2019. It's now late March 2023, so these are about 3.5 years old. I personally wouldn't want to run tyres that are older than about 5 years, so these are just over halfway through their lifespan in terms of age. And in terms of grip, these have been great for me. I ride fairly conservatively, but I do love a twisty road. I've had the tyres about an inch away from the edge, and personally I wouldn't want to go any further than that. Not because the tyres can't do it, but just because I think it starts getting a bit unsafe. I tend to ride a bit slower in the wet, but I've still cornered on these and they've done fine for me. Braking in the dry is pretty good, but wet weather braking has got noticeably worse in the last 1,000 miles or so. It takes at least twice the distance to stop in the wet as it does in the dry, and if you use the rear brake with any kind of enthusiasm, the rear tyre will start to slide around. I'm guessing this is to do with the tyre starting to square off and the tread not being as deep as it used to be. These tyres are often used as budget track day tyres, so the grip on them is definitely sufficient for normal road use. I've said in a previous review of my bike that if I had to buy the same tyres again, I wouldn't be upset about that, but I did manage to find a pair of Road 6 tyres for about £40 more than a pair of GPR-300s, so I've gone for those instead and I'm looking forward to seeing how they perform. Safe riding, and I'll see you guys in the next one.